Oh, welcome in everyone on a Thursday. Oh, look at the spinning fanatic. I love it. I am Jack Stache from Fantasy Farm Sports. We have Philly's Phinest with us here. Liam Sagarium at Liam Sagz. How we feeling, brother?
Jack, oh my gosh, what a time of the year. The Eagles are 5-0 for the third time in 5 years. The Phillies have a date upcoming with Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers, which is going to be epic scenes. Can't wait to be down there on Saturday evening. It's going to be a fun one. The Philadelphia Union, little talked about soccer on this pod, Jack. Philadelphia Union are one win away from the Supporters Shield in the MLS and the right to host the playoffs through MLS Cup. It's exciting times, baby. Exciting times.
That's fantastic. I played soccer for 17 years. So, I mean, I'm a big soccer guy. I don't follow the Americas as much as I probably should. But, I mean, that's a lot for Philly. My God. And you're going to the Phillies game?
Oh, I'll be there. I'll be there with my brother. I will be, let's just say, a lot of beers deep to either aid with the fun or really, really numb the pain. It can go both ways, obviously, in the sports world. So we'll see. The Dodgers are obviously an incredible team. And if the Phillies were to lose to them, I wouldn't feel, I wouldn't feel like I have the past 2 years with the Mets and the Diamondback series and feeling like we lost to an inferior team. So there's that, but at the same token, there's no solace in that, and it's time to go. It's a huge 5-game series, and the Phillies have home field, and we got to win. It feels like the last true shot for this core, especially with Castellanos and Schwarber coming up this summer, and I do think that Schwarber will resign. I don't think Castellanos will, and you don't know what Nola or Zach Wheeler will look like with his injury going forward. So it really feels like the last real run for this core. They've responded to the moment. It's the most resilient team that they've been over this 4 years. So if any team is going to get it done, it's going to be this one. But the tough test is right now, and it starts on Saturday, and I'm excited for it.
So I've always had this argument. I think that this team's fantastic, right? But you got to win one. Otherwise, you're not an all-time team. It's just the way it goes. Very sorry. Was it the 86 Mets, I believe, right? They're an all-timer. You had the Red Sox with Ortiz, Pedro Martinez. They got over the Yankees, and then they won the World Series, right? That's what makes you an all-time team. They have all-time characters, right? The Harper, the Schwarber, Turner, right? Castellanos. They added some juice quietly towards the end of the season. Harrison Bader thinks he's the best player in baseball.
I think he's the best player in baseball.
Oh my God. Listen, do you know what he does? He reminds me, this is Harrison Bader, when he takes the fielder, when he's in the batter's box, remember the wrestler, the Ultimate Warrior?
Of course.
Just running down, and then he's like this. That's Harrison Bader every single time. He's electric. Like, I feel like he would do a backflip to catch a ball in center field just to make it more fun for everybody.
That's right. He plays banana ball in the MLB. He is the master. He is the master. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, we're blessed to have him, as he would say. What a gift, and what a gift he has been. Him and Yohan Duran, and I know Duran is, I guess I don't want to say he's looked like shaky, but he's leaked a little water going down the stretch. He blew a couple saves, but you can't teach 102, 103 steadily on the gun, and you feel good about him coming in the 9th innings, and if you have a lead, having that 9th inning shut down, you make it an 8-inning game. So Harrison Bader's been a godsend for us, filled in nicely in the leadoff role when Trey Turner was nursing his injured hamstring, which thankfully wasn't anything more than a grade 1. He'll be back for the play. He actually played in the last game of the regular season, but he'll be back hopefully as close to full strength as possible on Saturday. And man, it's a true battle of the Titans. It's two really good rosters, and
this has got to be the year, though.
It's got to be the year for the Phillies. It really does. If they're not going to get it done this year, this core won't get it done any year.
Yeah, this has got to be the year. And you know, by the way, I just talked about juice, right? Right? I talked about juice.
Sure.
I don't believe that the Dodgers have the juice. The Dodgers have felt flat for about a month. And can they kick it back up into gear? I'm not sure. You know, Ohtani, is he going to be the one pitching Saturday? Is he kicking? Yeah.
Yep.
Ohtani, for me, they're going to try to stretch him. And to me, he's a monster for 4 innings. You get to inning 5, 6, he's hittable. And like big time hittable. Dave Roberts better manage him very closely, because if those Philly bats get around on him, you got a real problem. And again, it's players like Harrison Bader, you know, that win you the series. I don't think the Dodgers have a Bader or an angry because he gets benched and doesn't play every day. Castellanos is mad.
Yes, he is.
I like a mad Castellanos, right? He's you know, he's like a hitman is what he is, right? He's got that good Italian name, right? He brings that that moxie and that swagger. I like him angrier. I like him disrespected because I think he plays better in the field and in the batter's box. I think Philly's going to have enough to get by. I think it's going to be a fantastic game to go to.
I'm stoked. I can't wait to be there. It's going to be an absolute madhouse, the best or most raucous postseason fan environment in the MLB. And, you know, for Shohei's first ever postseason start on the mound, you can only imagine the things that will be said and the noise level that will be entertained at that place. You know, a couple of years ago, during the NLDS, when we were playing the Atlanta Braves in 2023, and I was at the game that Steven Strider started, and this was, you know, of course, infamously after Strider made the comment about that he preferred fans not being in the stadium, like after COVID. This, of course, was after that. You know, you don't come to Philadelphia. Well, I mean, like, he has to. He plays for the Braves, right? But you don't come to Philadelphia after those comments and expect all to be okay. So I remember that day we were all chanting well before the game started, even when he's out doing bullpen session. Strider, Strider. I mean, it's gonna be the same thing on Saturday. Shohei, where's your bookie? I mean, it's gonna be unbelievable.
Oh, but you already have a line set up. All right,
he's gonna have no clue. He's gonna have no clue what to really expect, because the only way to really prepare for a game at Citizens Bank Park in October is to experience it, and he hasn't yet. And while, you know, he was dominant against us in his outing, you know, just a few weeks ago in LA, just 2 weeks ago, Phillies ended up winning that game because of the lowliness that is their bullpen. But hey, if we can jump on Shohei early, give Christopher Sanchez a nice lead, really, you know, I think the Dodgers can play anywhere. I don't think that they're going to be fazed by the Philadelphia crowd, but that doesn't mean that we can't get under your skin a little bit. And that's what we're going to try and do.
I do think it's been I saw this wild statistic that the Philadelphia Phillies have the most come from behind victories, I believe, in the season, especially definitely in the month of August. And I thought that was a big deal because their whole thing is beer league home run ball, right? That's what they do, but they haven't been doing that. They've been getting down 5-0, then it's 5-2. And it's 5-3. Then we don't put up a score in the ending. And then all of a sudden they get a double. They've been really playing the bases well. And I think that's what's, you know, if you can manufacture runs when the long ball isn't working, that's the one thing that Philly's struggled with. But in these come from behind victories, they've been living by the 76ers motto, trusting the process, and they can come back and don't get nervous. And then they all of a sudden, it's 6-6, and they got you right where they want you because they never were nervous when they were down 6-0.
Right.
That's been their whole key, I believe. That'll be a fun game. Let's shift to football.
Let's do it.
How about those Eagles? I mean,
fly Eagles fly.
Fly Eagles fly. I mean, what? It's them and I mean, are we getting a Super Bowl preview already? It's them and the Bills that are undefeated.
I sure hope that's a Super Bowl preview. It's been a Super Bowl that not that I've predicted at any given point. I don't think I predicted it this year either necessarily. Maybe I did, but I've taken the Bills to make the Super Bowl like 3 of the past 4 years. I can't quit him. Josh Allen's like probably my favorite player ever. So I sure hope so, because if the Eagles were to lose to any team in the Super Bowl, the only team I want it to be to is the Bills, or the only team that I would accept of it being is the Bills at this point. I wouldn't accept of Baltimore. I certainly would not accept of Kansas City again. Nobody else really meets the threshold of what I believe to be, reasonable competition for the Eagles, as long as the Eagles, aren't, actively dying on the field. So I would love to see the Bills in the Super Bowl. I would love for this to be Josh Allen's coronation year. I know he just won an MVP, but two 4-0 teams. It's my favorite player and my favorite team. The Eagles, it seems like they lose to 2 things at this point. They lose to godly quarterback performances, which they haven't lost to that specific type of game in over a year, and they lose to the Philadelphia Eagles, and and that's where they are. It's a run that me at 27 years old, I'll never see anything like this again, and I cherish every week of it. I don't care. I shouldn't phrase it like that. I of course care that the offense looks like crap for halves and holes at a time, but it never gets old to win. It never gets old to put on my business casual Eagles polo on Monday morning after wins and rubbing people's faces that we just we beat your favorite team's favorite team all the time. They'll never lose again. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, Philly, the NFL season so far, to me, like I feel like you could sum it up and put a nice bow on it. It's been a war of attrition, right? Like, nobody is really, there are very few teams that are healthy, and I think it's a big concern of the NFL or issue with the NFL. I understand, that players get banged up. This is a lot. I don't know whether it has to deal with the turf. I don't know whether it has to deal with the fact, how about this? Because we already kind of talked about it for a second. The fact that wide receivers wear soccer cleats so they can run faster could be a problem with your feet. I'm just saying, if we're going to have the argument about turf, then maybe you should wear the proper equipment so that your legs can take care of the burden, right? I understand you're not going to run a 4.38 40. Deal with a 4.4 and a longer career. But the war of attrition Philly is built for, because they have the deepest team. I mean, if we were talking basketball, they'd have like 3 benches of starters for other teams. Half of their team could start on defense for other teams. I mean, have you seen their running back room? Let's say Barkley goes down and breaks both legs. I'm not, but let's say. They've got A.J. Dillon and Tank Bigsby? I mean,
and Will Shipley. Don't forget about Will Shipley.
I know, but people are giving them gifts. They're one of their worst wide receivers on their. I'm saying, let's say both of their wide receivers, right? AJ, you ever see the movie Spinal Tap?
I have not.
All right, well, it's a mockumentary about European bands and how. Let's say they're one of their players. Let's say AJ Brown and Devonta Smith both simultaneously explode on the field.
You hate when that happens.
You can't stand a player that just blows up, right? You got a hole in the ground. You got to pause the game. You got real problems.
You got to fix the divot.
You got to fix the divot, right? Player explodes on the field. You still have Johan Dotson and John Michie. I mean, there are no problems in Philly, even if you lost 7 players. And other teams cannot afford that. You see, Mike Evans in Tampa, Bucky Irving's banged up, Chuba Hubbard might not play, Jaden Daniels out. I haven't even gotten to Joe Burrow. I mean, those are marquee names that, by the way, help sell the league and help those teams perform better. Philly could lose 3 guys. I just mentioned them, and they just keep rolling.
It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing. It is. I'll tell you what, I don't often call for it. Most of the time I want them fired. But we got to get that general manager of yours more money. Really.
Yeah. I mean, how he can demand a blank check at any point. I think Jeff Lurie will be happy to give him whatever he wants. And, you know, he's probably a Hall of Famer at this point. He's probably a Hall of Fame executive at this point.
I'm gonna tell you, if I was, there were a couple teams here. If I was Carolina, if I was Cleveland, Miami's in a little bit of trouble here. If I were these teams, I would call up Philadelphia and go, look at what can we do for that general manager. If the answer is no, it's no. But I would make the phone call. I mean, that guy has turned around the Raiders. Well, I know we love Tom Brady, but even Tom knows that guy has done a fantastic job with Philly. And every single time, Fletcher Cox starting to get a little old. Not a problem. We'll just draft Jalen Carter. He's like the Ndamukong Suh of this era, and you found him in Georgia every time.
Man, Howie and Brady would be a deadly combination. I would hate to see that.
I would hate to say, well, I mean, it's not going to happen, but I'm saying, you have to figure in that man has done such a fantastic job putting the players in the right spots and just drafting in the right areas. Couple misses, not a lot of misses. He did a good job there. We got a game tonight. And again, we're dealing with a team that wish they had a Howie Roseman type general manager, because he'd have insight and he'd have backups upon backups, and that's the San Francisco 49ers. They travel to LA and take on a Rams team. By the way, if McVay's helping shop for the groceries, crushing it. He's finding everybody. That defense is good. Graybeard Stafford looks good. Devontae Adams raised his hands to go there. So just in case Puka goes down, he's got him. I mean, so just to put it out there, the Rams, it's been ping-ponging back and forth, whether they're an 8-point favorite or 8.5-point favorite. We've got Mac Jones starting in San Francisco, the check down king. Give us your take on this game.
It's hard to really assess when Brock Purdy is not going to play, and he probably shouldn't have rushed himself back from injury, especially for a team that was sitting at 3-0. There was just no need to have done that. But probably, he hurts himself. Nick Bosa is obviously out. Pearsall, right, is out as well. They don't have a great offensive line. It's just it's really not a great spot for the Niners. Yes, it'll be a de facto Niners home game, so that helps.
Yeah.
But Mac Jones is very athletically limited, and he's a statuesque pocket passer, the very antiquated type of quarterback that the league is phasing away from. And while the prophecy has been complete, and he finally ended up with Kyle Shanahan, who probably they should have just drafted him with the number 3 overall pick in that draft anyway. The Rams defense is going to get way after them. Jared Verse, I don't think it's talked about. I don't think he's talked about individually enough. That dude is unbelievably strong. He is like one of the 3-4 most raw power dudes in the NFL, and he's only in his second year. His physical attributes and his physique are unfreaking believable. And for someone like Mac Jones, who doesn't have the legs to escape him, if Jared Verse is going to be wrecking shop all day, there's not going to be anything really for Mac Jones. It's going to call on a huge day from McCaffrey if the Niners are going to win this game. But I think that the Rams are the second or third best team in the NFC. I think that they're incredibly well coached on both sides of the ball. Obviously on the offensive end with McVay, I think Puka Nacua is an absolute stud. And the line's a little high at 8.5. But if you were to put a gun to my head and say take one side of the line, I think I would take the Rams.
Yeah. We mentioned earlier, right? Carter in Philly, and they replaced Fletcher Cox almost seamlessly. That's what they did in the Rams, right? Darnold retired. They knew he was close to the end anyway, and they bring in Verse. And I listen, I know we love Aaron Darnold for what he was. He was the best player, right? But like, this guy is just as good, and he's younger, and he's hungry, and you're right. He is going to be wrecking shop all day long. I just, Mac Jones to me, you mentioned statuesque, and that harkens me back to the Drew Bledsoe, right? They called him the statue. I've seen him live. I can beat him in a foot race. I know I'm not fast. But Drew Bledsoe had a cannon. I mean, that ball would come out and spin. And it's the one thing that Mac Jones doesn't have. He might know the plays. He might know how to get the ball there. It's just he can't throw the out routes. I don't know who tried to figure him out or didn't figure him out. They saw they had the moxie of Alabama at the time. But Mac Jones can't. And the only player that I love, to have a decent game, maybe towards garbage time for San Francisco, I know McCaffrey will show up and he'll do what he can do best. But once they shut him down, I do believe somehow, somewhere on this planet, Demarcus Robinson finds a way into the end zone. Obviously, he was an ex-Ram, and Kyle Shanahan, it's really his only other target, right? So, and the guy's got speed and talent. I think he was in Kansas City for a cup of coffee as well. So we know Andy Reid utilized what he can do on the field. And I think if you were looking for a player to do something in San Francisco tonight, Kyle Shanahan's a little snarky, and he'd like to get that guy a touchdown to show McVay that maybe he should have kept him, right?
Absolutely. And I think to that point, I lost my train of thought.
That's fine. Listen,
I completely lost my train of thought. I think you watched the thought leave my head. But yeah, so I'm just gonna kick it back to you. I agreed with what you said, and I don't have my follow-up.
Perfect. So we both like DeMarcus Robinson, and that's fair because we do know that these guys, Shanahan and McVay, know each other pretty well. In fact, they coached each other. They coached in Washington together. A lot of the schemes are the same. They're head-to-head right now. Is Shanahan's got 10 wins. McVay's got 6 wins. Today, McVay's got the overwhelmingly better team. Healthier. Maybe if they were toe-to-toe, it'd be a 3-point spread. But, I mean, McVay has all the clout and some of the know-how, right? If all things are equal, which they are not, this would be a 3-point game. It'd be a Pittsburgh versus Baltimore. It has been for years. But the 49ers are so undermatched. I can only name 2 guys that'll be involved, right? I don't know what else Kyle Shanahan could have up his sleeve to make this competitive. A couple things I do like. Because we mentioned Mac, the check down King Jones. We like McCaffrey over 51.5 yards receiving. It's minus 140. There's not a lot of money there. But if you can take some meat off the bone and give yourself a victory, that's what we like to do here at Fantasy Farm Sports, right? And Liam, 100% on board with this, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's not going to be a lot of other options for Mac Jones out there, right? Like even the great schematic genius that is Kyle Shanahan is going to have to realize that with such a talent deficit at this point, that you're going to have to put the workload on McCaffrey and really just try and ride him to a win if that's going to be in the cards. So I don't really think that there's any path to a Niners victory without him having a huge day in the pass and run game. Will he be able to accomplish that just like by dictation of the game from the Rams defense? I have no idea. But if the Niners want any chance to win, that's going to be the obvious path forward. And so I think that is a safe bet.
I was in the Magic store this week, right? There's a Magic store here in town, and I bumped into a guy next to me, Kyle Shanahan. Interestingly enough, we were both ordering rabbits. We don't know if they'll be here in time. We both bought hats. I am struggling this week in my fantasy league. I've got Malik Neighbors out clearly for the year. Unfortunate for Giants fan. And Josh Jacobs is on a bye week. So I'm scrambling. So I went to the Magic store hoping to pick up something. I think Kyle Shanahan's in the same boat that I'm in.
Yeah, he's gonna need a hope and a prayer. But you know what? At least the Niners are kind of used to this, right? Like in a weird way, them and the Ravens historically. I don't know what the hell they do at practice, or if they're you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Team physicians and massage therapists. Like maybe they just the training staff. Excuse me. Maybe they just all suck. I don't know. But every year the Ravens and the Niners seem to suffer more injuries than just about anybody else. So if anybody's used to dealing with those kind of injuries and trying to coach around them, it is Shanahan. The only issue is Shanahan historically is not great at coaching undermanned and underhanded. And you know, a lot of people say the sign of a good coach is what you do when you don't have those right kind of pieces. And I guess if that adage is true, then Doc Rivers is the best basketball coach that ever lived. Trust me, the only time he ever served any value for the Sixers was when the best players didn't play. It's like those are the games he got up for, which, like, I understand, you know, next man up mentality and playing with a little more fervor, but like you got to keep some sort of like base level of consistency. So that's kind of just where I'm at with that one.
Doc Rivers was always weird to me just because he always got Phil Jackson credit for only doing it once.
Doing it once with like an incredible assembly of talent for 2008.
Right. No, I mean, I get it. And oh God, I always have this argument with people, but you know, for how clutch Kobe Bryant was, you know, Paul Pierce was like a problem for a while up in Boston. They called him the truth. Like, if you watch some of those games and you'd sit there and you go, you know what? I don't think I'm going to bet on this game. You're like, why? Well, because it's a 3-point spread and Paul Pierce is playing. I mean, he was a real problem. 100%. I've got Devontae Adams over 4.5 receptions. I do believe that this is a game where Matthew Stafford can spread it around, make everybody happy. You know, dinner tonight will be nice. Yeah, I got you 6 catches, right? Like stuff like that. Puka will have the yards that I think he needs for our fantasy owners. Stay away from everything 49ers. Here's another telling statistic. The 49ers have only scored 80 points. And I think they've allowed 71. So their games have been super tight. And and they're undermanned. I don't like undermanned and super tight. Mm-hmm. It's not great. The Rams, on the other hand, they have 100 points for, and they've allowed 81. So they've allowed a little bit more points, but the gap is much greater than I'd have any comfort with going, you know, San Francisco 8.5. That's pretty good. I just feel like the public here is going to get absolutely hosed because they're looking at the historical matchup between Shanahan and McVay, but not, I mean, I get that the paper looks bad, but at some point, like, they don't have Kittle. They don't have Kittle. They don't have Purdy. Like, they don't have Pierce all that. I can name the list of don't hads. And you know, sometimes it is the Jimmies and Joes.
Definitely. And you know, this isn't the grinded out smash mouth football of the AFC North where it seems to not matter who's playing. The Ravens and Steelers will come within 3 points of each other. That's just not how it is out there in the NFC West. They're scheming up to put points on the board, and the Niners don't have the players to put up the points on the board, and the Rams do. And you know, they're into, you know, California sunshine, pretty boy football, and the pretty boy with the Super Bowl ring is gonna flex his muscle and flex his talent advantage at home, even though it won't feel like at home because, again, LA crowds don't really get too many traditional home games.
You know, we talked about exploding wide receivers earlier, and I think we're the only podcast that does it. To be quite frank, I think we're the only podcast that brings up wide receivers that could possibly implode on the field and have divot issues. If the Rams bring the house every other play, I mean, Mac Jones is not going to make it through.
No.
I mean, because you got McCaffrey, that's great. But, I mean, there again, we talked about Jimmy Jones. There's only so many X's and O's and schematics you can go through. If you just don't have the guys, and the Rams defense is much better than everybody thinks, I mean, like, this is going to be a long night.
It's definitely going to be a long night. It's going to be a humbling night. I think it's kind of going to put the Niners into the national perspective of where they actually belong. Doesn't matter that Brock's not playing or Pearsall's not playing or Bosa's not playing, which Bosa's not going to play the rest of the year, obviously. The Niners 3-0 start, while it wasn't like a mirage by in terms of like what the actual record is, but like, you know, they weren't thought of as a traditional 3-0 type of team. There is no juggernauty aspect to them. There is no overhauled dominant roster to them. It was just kind of everything that we've always kind of thought about the Niners in this entire run. It's just like when they have their guys, they're probably going to win ball games. And that Seattle game in week 1, they probably should have lost. But when they have their guys, they're going to win ball games. And when they don't have their guys, they're probably not going to win ball games. And tonight's the night where they don't have their guys. And even when they do have all their guys, I think the better team is over in LA, and LA has the guys tonight. So, yeah, I would take the 8.5. I would take, you know, the over on receptions for Adams. I'm not sure what the reception line is for Puka, but you have to assume that he's going to get just a dearth of targets too. Like you said, it's kind of just a spread the wealth type of game. Sort of take the pressure off of everybody because there's not going to be, or at least there shouldn't be, like a total sense of urgency at any point. Like, oh crap, we got to catch up, or oh we got to put points on the board in a hurry. It can just be, you know, almost like a feel it out, test your ingredients type of game. See what sticks and what doesn't, because you're probably going to come out with the victory in the end.
I like that. Try it out, test your ingredients. I'll tell you what, that's good. That's a good little, right? See how it tastes at the end. Yeah, I don't think there's a lot here. Again, you know, the 49ers to me, they kind of feel like the Vikings 2 years ago. Right? Remember when the Vikings were going through quarterbacks and they still had Justin Jefferson, but they were fumbling through guys, and you know, every once in a while they give you a win, but then they lose again, and they were an 8-9 team. That's kind of how it's like. San Francisco doesn't have that, you know, bite to them this year. I think they're weaker than what their record is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and you know, they're getting up there in age at their key positions, and Fred Warner's still great, but he's not getting any younger. Bosa's had 2 major knee injuries. Brock Purdy, for what he is clearly not the most talented quarterback in the world, or one of the 10 most talented quarterbacks in the world. So, you know, the Niners for a long time have been a lot of brain trust and a lot of Kyle Shanahan making magic and using his football players as essentially Madden chips, and he doesn't have that anymore. They can't garner that same separation. They can't hold up the same. They can't run the football the same. They don't block the same. It's just it's time for the Niners to start looking at what the next version of the Niners is going to be. They had their chance. They lost to the Chiefs twice in the Super Bowl. The Philadelphia Eagles only lost to the Chiefs once in the Super Bowl, and they beat them once. The Niners didn't.
Yeah, I would have started making phone calls, or had my agent make phone calls if I was Kyle Shanahan last year, because I thought that, you know, he went to bat for Brock Purdy and it made his job harder. I know everybody loves Brock Purdy, but Brock Purdy's the kind of quarterback that makes your job harder because of the things he lacks. Okay, I know the things he does well, but he's not a Josh Allen. He's not a Patrick Mahomes at his worst, because Pat hasn't been great. You know, Brock Purdy does lack certain things. I thought that if Kyle Shanahan wanted to escape San Francisco and moves him where the lights weren't so bright and focused on him, like Tennessee, and get a quarterback like, I don't know, Will Levis, that would have worked out.
Adam Schefter just tweeted out the Niners starters for tonight: Mac Jones, Christian McCaffrey, Kendrick Bourne, Demarcus Robinson, and Jake Tongs.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Do we know those players?
You know, I know the names. I can only put maybe two of them to the faces.
Oh
You know
my
what I mean?
God.
But, yeah, it's definitely not the most advantageous situation tonight for the San Francisco Gold Diggers.
Ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor. Okay, we've gone over this football game. If you want to place your bets on it, place your bets on it. But how I would spend my Thursday evening for our one viewer that we have right now is I would wait for 8. Listen, if you came here to listen, that's great. We're up to 2 viewers and the sky is the limit. But what I would do is I would spend my Thursday nights turning my TV on, and at 8:08, I believe, is when it begins. I would watch Yankees Red Sox. I just would. That's the game that will be more competitive. It will go deep in innings. You know it's going to be 4-3 or 5-4 or whatever, but you're going to get real competitive game. Hey, guess who's playing? Judge is going to be in the game. Duran's going to be playing. All your favorite names are going to be playing for those teams tonight. It's playoff baseball. We all love football, but let's be honest, the product that is going out tonight is not going to do it.
Yeah, I'm certainly not going to be eyes glued to the TV screen for Rams and Niners. Now, I probably would have been if all health. That's for damn sure. But I'm going to be watching that Yankees Red Sox game. Not only is it, you know, the true test of time rivalry in baseball and the best rivalry in baseball, I think there's a very, very easy argument to make that it's the best rivalry in all of American sports, if not entirety of sports in the world professionally. So, okay. You know, you don't get any better than Yankees Red Sox. You don't get any better than one of them is going to be the reason that the other season ends tonight. You know, me as a Philadelphia fan, while I don't claim to be as obnoxious and disgusting as some of them, I definitely have a little bit of obnoxiousness to me. And when we had the opportunity to knock the Braves out 2 years in a row, I was not very nice about it. And so I know exactly what the Yankees and Red Sox fans are feeling tonight. It's the first person in the world you want to beat. It's the last person in the world you want to lose to. That's part of the beauty of sports fandom, and it's part of, you know, the lumps that you got to take year in and year out as a fan when you invest as much time in it as we do, especially over the long slog of 162 freaking games. I mean, that's a lot of freaking games, man. Oh my God.
You know, it isn't though, because there's games the thing that's great about baseball is there's games every day, right? There's pitchers every day. There's writers every day. Baseball, I know we love football and all of our sports. Baseball employs a lot of people. There's a lot, yeah, and there's a lot that goes into baseball. You know, you have your scouts, you have AAA, you have AA, right? It really, you know, by the way, the summer, like you got stuff going on in the summer, I have stuff going on, we all do, right? You can miss a game and it's not the end of the world. You know, your tail doesn't have to be parked in a chair for every single moment. You know, you will watch the marquee matchups. You're probably not going to watch Philadelphia play the Miami Marlins, or God forbid, for how bad the Colorado Rockies were this year. You might not have to do something that day. Yeah, Yankees Red Sox tonight. Who do you like? And then we'll get out of here.
I'm gonna take the Red Sox simply because I hate the Yankees a lot, and I don't want to see them move on. For just as happy as I was to see Mets and their fans, you know, not make the playoffs, I'd be equally as happy to see the other half, or other 85% of New York fans also go home with their tails tucked between their legs. That's what I'm here for. And while I don't like Boston either, I can deal with the Red Sox a lot easier than I can deal with the Yankees. So that's where we're at. But really, if you're gonna ask me to take an AL team, I'm gonna take the winner of the Tigers and Mariners series again, just for vibes. There is no objective reasoning to this pick. We just dislike the Yankees in this household. We don't like New York, and so we're gonna be against New York.
So, all right. So you're against New York. I'm for writers. I'm for entertainers. Right. That's what I like. And we get that in this matchup, right? I know that Judge brings a lot of juice. I know Stanton brings a lot of juice. And I know that those guys matter in households right now. Your pitching matchup tonight is Conley Early for the Boston Red Sox. I've seen him pitch before. Yeah, but he's a young kid. He's a real young kid. But I've seen him pitch a couple times, and he doesn't care. I mean, brother, he walks out there and he steps on the mound. The mound is not in charge. This kid, young baby face, he's like Allen when he started with the Bills. Conley Early can pitch, and he doesn't care what you are. And I think it would be fantastic. It'd be great for writers all around the world because the Yankees starter is Cam Schlitter. And I think it would be wonderful to see in the newspaper tomorrow in New York City, in Yankees in the Schlitter as they lose.
The early Schlitter.
Yeah, early Schlitter. That's perfect, right? We did something really nice for the writers going into the weekend. They got an easy headline. They recapped the game. Boston moves on. I'm very sorry. The Yankees will have to do a little bit better, find a little bit more talent, and maybe a new coach.
You know, it does feel like the Aaron Boone era has kind of run its course, especially if they can't cap it off this year. So
he's a jerk.
He looks like one.
Yeah, he acts like one too. And the thing is that if you're a jerk, you get less time. It's just a rule, right? If you're a nice guy, you get more time. If you're a jerk, you get less time. If you win and you're a jerk, people go, hey, he's a jerk, but he won. That's just how it goes. And if you lose to the Red Sox, especially in this spot with Schlitter on the mound, I mean, I got writings for days. I can't wait to get to work. But we need to play the game first. I'll take the Red Sox for a nice, easy Friday for every single baseball writer on the planet. I am Jack Stache. This is Fantasy Farm Sports. Liam, you got something to plug for us?
Yeah, as always, you can find my work on for the Sixers at Philadelphia Sports Network, Metro Philadelphia. My Twitter is there in my name at Liam_SAGZ. And other than that, we're getting ready, obviously for basketball season to start. But my head hasn't even computed that the Sixer season starts in a couple weeks. I'm full bore on the Phillies right now until that could end as early as next Tuesday. You never fucking know, but that's where I'm at. I'm excited for my Eagles. We got the Denver Broncos coming into town this week, so of course let's ride. And yeah, I can't wait. It's a great time of year. The sports equinox, as you could say, the month of October. It's an amazing time. And yeah, buddy, it was good to jump back on with you and see you.
I just want to 1 second before we get off. That Twitter is very important. It's at Liam_Sagz. And the reason why it's so important is because you guys will get the ESPNs and the Fox Sports pictures from the game in Philadelphia. But Liam is going to post those pictures on his Twitter from the stands. You're going to be live from Philly, right?
I'll be there.
You'll give us a little bit, right? A taste of the parking lot as you go in, right? Just put that phone on for a minute so we could all view it. That'd be great.
I hadn't even I haven't even gotten to that point yet, but hell yeah, I'll take some videos for you. I'll post them. I would love, nothing more than a save situation and the Duran entrance come out in the playoffs. I mean, it would just be electric. So.
Yeah, and you guys are only going to get an authentic view from Philadelphia sports if you go to at Liam Sagz or at Liam_Sagz. Follow him on Twitter. It's very important. You will get in stadium views. It's better than any other sports network because Liam, he comes on here. He gives us the very best of Philadelphia sports at Liam_Sagz. Please follow him. It's very important, guys. We are out.